Let's face it, nobody likes paying taxes. And when buying property in Mexico, you need to be aware of them. So in this quick video, we're going to talk about all the ones you need to know about and the ones you can't avoid. And you might learn a thing or two about paying less or even avoiding them. Or do you like paying taxes, huh? Now, the first tax you need to be aware of is acquisition tax. The Mexican government collects this from you when you buy your property. But the amount depends on the price of the property itself. And it's a set percentage of the property's worth. And of course, this changes over time as the value of your property increases. In Mexico, property acquisition taxes range between 2% and 5%. But this depends on the location and the type of property you buy. Here in Riviera, Mexico, taxes typically are about 2 or 3%. But in order to know exactly the percentage, you need to consult a tax specialist in your area. So time to hit those Facebook groups and start looking for one. Now let's move along to the tax you can't avoid. As an owner of property, you pay yearly tax, and in Mexico that's no different. This tax is called Predial. Now you might be nicely surprised to know how low it is. Rather than paying those high yearly property taxes you may be used to, the tax rates here in Mexico are between 0.1% and 0.4%. But wait, it gets even better. Because if you pay ahead of time, you usually get a discount. And who doesn't like a good old discount? So in Mexico, taxes are much cheaper than anywhere else, right? Well, not exactly. Because this next type of tax is kind of heavy, so you really need to be aware of it. So you bought that lovely beach villa close to the beach, but now you're thinking of selling it. Well, when you sell your property, you don't keep all that money you made. You pay a tax called capital gains. This tax is what you make on the profit of your property. So here's how it works. So let's say you bought that dream villa property for $250,000, and 5 years later you decide to sell it. You sell it for $350,000 US. Well, that's considered a profit of $100,000 US. Unfortunately, you don't get to keep all of that. A percentage of that goes to the government, and you can expect to pay up to 30%. So this means up to $30,000 is paid in this case. And everyone has to pay that 30%, right? Well, not exactly. There's certain exemptions and deductions available for you. For instance, if you're a resident, you can qualify for tax exemption. With a residency in Mexico being a fairly easy process for foreigners, that's something you probably want to take advantage of. But again, if you want to know those specifics, you need to seek a tax specialist. Now, it's important to note, if you just seek general advice on this matter, you could be missing out on saving on your taxes, or even worse, you could end up paying more than you need to. So if you're renting out your property while you're not using it, or as a full-time rental, why not? Then you probably know that you can do very well doing this. But you need to know there's a tax on this income. And it doesn't matter if you're a Mexican or a foreigner, you need to pay it. Now, how much you pay depends on whether you're a resident or a foreigner here in Mexico. As I mentioned earlier, it's pretty easy to get a residency here in Mexico. As of 2024, non-residents pay a flat rate of 25% on their rental income. But if you're a resident, you can pay much less. You can even claim on deductions and expenses related to the rental property. This can save you thousands and leave more money in your pocket. So use that property of yours not just as a fancy vacation home, but also as a real investment. Well, there you have it. You may not like paying tax, but it's something that we all need to do. However, in Mexico, you can save a lot on taxes if you know how. And if you're buying property in Riviera, Mexico, I have some good news for you. All of those taxes that we mentioned before, you can know them up front before even buying a property here. The team and I here at Cabra Luxury Homes know all about taxes, and we can make sure you understand and know all about them, so no hidden surprises. Just click the link in the description below and reach out to us today. Well, I hope you found this helpful and that it clears up a few things about how property taxes work here in Mexico. You know what? Drop us a comment below and tell us your thoughts about taxes in Mexico. We'd love to know what you think about them. And if you're thinking about the type of property to buy, we made this video for you where you can learn the 6 types of properties to buy here in Riviera, Mexico.